I waited 25 years to get my revenge, and it was more than worth it. My stepdad, Rick, moved into our house when I was just 8 years old. Mom was head over heels for him, and honestly, so was I at first. He brought me cool gifts, took me fishing, and even helped me with my science fair projects. But at home, when Mom wasn't around, he was different. If I left a toy on the floor or forgot to take out the trash, he'd get this look in his eyes. "Your mom doesn't need to know how you really behave, does she?" he'd say, squeezing my shoulder just a little too hard. By the time I was 12, the mask had completely slipped. He'd accidentally break my things when Mom was working late shifts at the hospital. Once, he threw my baseball signed by Derek Jeter right into our fireplace because I didn't mow the lawn exactly how he wanted. "Tell your mom, and I'll make sure she knows what a disappointment you really are," he'd whisper. When I tried telling Mom anyway, Rick had already planted seeds. "Poor kid has quite an imagination," he'd say with that perfect smile. "Remember how he made up that story about seeing a wolf in the backyard last month?" I learned to keep quiet. I kept a hidden journal of everything he did, tucked inside a hollow science textbook on my shelf. On my 18th birthday, I got accepted to a college across the country. Rick seemed thrilled to finally get rid of me. As I packed my things, he leaned against my doorframe. "Don't bother coming back for holidays," he smirked. "Your mom and I could use the alone time." That night, I heard them arguing downstairs. Mom was upset I was going so far away. "He's running from something," she said. "I just don't understand why he won't talk to me anymore." Rick's voice was soft, convincing. "Some boys just need space from their mothers. It's normal, trust me." I left for college the next day with my secret journal tucked in my bag. 4 years later, Mom called me in tears. Rick had cleaned out their bank accounts. Every penny of her retirement savings gone. He'd been gambling for years, she said. She felt so stupid for not seeing it. I wanted to tell her everything then, but what good would it do? She was already broken. Instead, I moved back home to help her rebuild. Every few years, we'd hear rumors about Rick. He'd remarried a wealthy widow in Florida. Then he was running a boat tour business in the Caribbean. Mom eventually found happiness with a kind man who actually deserved her. Meanwhile, I built a successful life, got married, had kids, started an accounting firm, but I never forgot about Rick. I used my professional skills to keep tabs on him over the years, just little checks, nothing illegal. I tracked his moves from one scam to another across 3 states. Then, after 25 years, I saw my chance. Rick had wormed his way into becoming the treasurer of a charity foundation in Arizona. According to their financial filings, large sums were being moved around in suspicious patterns. I didn't want innocent people to suffer, so I set up an anonymous email account and sent detailed documentation of Rick's past frauds to the foundation's board members, along with instructions on what to look for in their accounts. 3 weeks later, it hit the local news. Rick was arrested for embezzling over $200,000 from a children's cancer charity. His newest wife was interviewed, crying about how she had no idea who he really was. I watched his perp walk on YouTube. Same smug face, now older and panicked as reporters shouted questions. I noticed he still had that nervous habit of adjusting his collar when he lied. Mom called me that evening. "Did you see the news about Rick?" she asked quietly. "Yeah, I did," I replied, trying to keep my voice neutral. There was a long pause. "You know," she finally said, "I found your old journal in the attic about 10 years ago when I was packing to move." My heart stopped. "Mom, No," she interrupted. "I should have known. I should have protected you." Her voice cracked. "Did you have anything to do with this?" I thought about lying, but we'd had enough secrets. I just made sure the right people saw who he really was. She was quiet for a moment. "Good," she finally whispered. "I'm going to sleep better tonight than I have in 30 years. I hung up and opened a bottle of wine I'd been saving for a special occasion. As I poured a glass, my oldest son came into the kitchen and asked why I was smiling. "Just thinking about an old science project that finally worked out," I told him. "The results were definitely worth the wait."